If you were to go through the home buying process right now in Las Vegas, what as a buyer can you expect from sellers? In this video, I'm going to go over the 6 things you can expect from sellers in today's market. Number 1, sellers are offering a credit towards buyers' closing costs. We are seeing sellers be willing to offer a credit towards the buyer's closing costs as part of the negotiations, or even offering it through the MLS in order to attract buyers. Buyers' closing costs typically include appraisal fee, loan origination fee, escrow fees, title fees, and even prepaid expenses such as taxes and homeowners insurance. Buyers' closing costs can be several $1,000s and typically is a round figure or around 3% of the purchase price. Most lenders do allow the seller to contribute towards the buyer's closing costs, just not towards the buyer's down payment. I see often where buyers obtaining a VA or FHA loan ask the seller to contribute towards their closing costs. By reducing the amount of money that the buyer needs to bring in at close of escrow, seller's credit can help buyers get into a home with less out-of-pocket. As interest rates have continued to go up, buyers are also asking sellers to contribute towards points to buy down the loan. This can help buyers reduce their monthly payment as well. The amount a seller credits towards the buyer's closing costs is negotiable, and it can vary depending on current market conditions, the seller's motivation, and the overall terms of the purchase agreement. A seller that's willing to offer a credit towards the closing costs might take that into consideration in other terms in the agreement. Often I see a seller that's contributing towards the buyer's closing costs be less negotiable on the actual purchase price of the home. For example, if a seller's contributing $10,000 towards the buyer's closing costs, they might expect list price for their offer, or sometimes I've even seen sellers where the home is sold over asking price. Buyers should carefully consider how the credit contributes towards the overall terms of the offer. I recommend working with a lender and a real estate agent that understands the market to ensure the seller's credit is properly accounted for in the closing process. And if you need help with a great lender, shoot me an email. I have several terrific ones I can recommend. Overall, a seller credit towards the closing costs can be a valuable incentive for the buyer and a terrific win-win for the seller as it helps get the home sold. Number 2, sellers are completing repairs and renovations. Sellers have been agreeable to completing needed repairs or renovations identified in the home inspection process. This is the time frame the buyer can have a home inspection and really do their due diligence for inspecting the property. This is the time frame the buyer can have a home inspection and negotiate repairs. I typically see this time frame anywhere around 7 to 14 days from acceptance. Normally, a buyer hires a licensed home inspector that's going to check items like heating, plumbing, cooling, appliances, and even get into the attic space. A lot of times the inspection reports will show things like these are major concerns that probably should be addressed immediately, or these are more maintenance items that can be addressed over time. The buyer will then present what's called the request for repairs form to the seller requesting repairs they want completed. The seller can negotiate back by either accepting, rejecting, or countering to the request for repairs. I usually recommend to my sellers to complete items that are reasonable, such as heating, plumbing, cooling, or electrical. These are items that we would need to disclose to the next buyer anyway, so let's agree to them now and keep the deal in process. Something sometimes my sellers won't agree is more cosmetic items. Oftentimes the seller will agree to complete the repairs or offer a credit to the buyer at closing for the items. If the seller agrees to repair items, Nevada law requires that certain repairs must be completed by the appropriate licensed contractor. Overall, we are seeing sellers agree to complete repairs to provide a smooth transaction and provide reassurance to the buyer about the condition of the home. If you're new to my channel, hi there. Leslie Carver here, your your expert guide in the world of real estate with a special focus on Henderson. I'm here to offer advice, insights, and updates so you can make an informed decision when it comes to buying or selling real estate in Las Vegas and Henderson. Remember to like, subscribe, and click the bell so you get notified when a new video is released. Let's keep going. Number 3, sellers are accepting a contingent offer. Yes, we are seeing sellers accept offers with the contingency of the buyer's home selling. In Las Vegas, if a seller accepts a contingent offer, our MLS requires that the property be changed to contingent status in the MLS. There are several options on contingent status. We do have several options such as contingent show and contingent no show, so sellers can put their property into contingent show status. However, this drastically reduces the amount of activity a seller will receive. We are seeing more sellers be willing to take that risk and negotiate a contingent offer. I recommend to my clients to specify certain things like the time frame the buyer must have their property under contract and when the seller can cancel if needed. We have a contingent upon sell addendum here in Las Vegas that allows the sellers to continue marketing their property and even accept other offers contingent upon cancellation of the previous escrow. We are seeing sellers much more likely to accept a contingent offer when the buyer's home is under contract with an accepted offer. This means the buyer's home is under contract and the offer is just contingent upon that property closing escrow. Overall, accepting a contingency of the buyer's home can be a win-win. It just takes special consideration and negotiation to make sure both parties' interests are protected. Number 4, sellers are providing home warranties for buyers. Sellers have been more willing to provide a home warranty to the buyer. A home warranty takes into effect at close of escrow for a year after close of escrow. The seller will pay for the home warranty out of their proceeds at close of escrow. When a buyer has a home warranty coverage, they normally pay a small deductible of around $75 for the repair. Pricing for plans start around $500 up to $1,000, with more expensive plans including coverage for pools and other items. Home warranties are designed to offer a peace of mind for buyers for unexpected costs that happen with home ownership. This cost is negotiable, and I see maybe buyers requesting a seller to pay for one around 70% of the time. I usually prepare my sellers during the listing that this is a likely cost they'll pay, and I complete a net sheet including the cost so sellers expect it. Even though the seller pays for the coverage, the buyer should be the one to choose the company and coverage options. For buyers, a seller-paid home warranty can provide financial security during that first year of home ownership. Number 5, flexible closing timeframes. Sellers have been flexible on different closing times for buyers. This includes allowing for delayed and extending close of escrow if the buyer needs it due to loan problems. Sellers who agree to this understand that a short extension might be the best option to keep the transaction together. On the other hand, sellers have also been more agreeable to a short expedited close of escrow for buyers needing that closing quickly. This could include buyers relocating for a job, buyers that have a lease expiring, or cash buyers that just want to get into the home quickly. Sellers have been more willing to accommodate buyers with either a quick closing or an extended closing in order to get the home sold. Let's see how well prepared you are for your move to Las Vegas. Pop quiz time. How long is the home warranty coverage? Is it 6 months, a year, or 2 years? Place your votes in the comments below. Finally, on to item number 6. Sellers are more agreeable to include personal property such as refrigerators, washers and dryers, appliances, even furniture, window treatments, and other items. This can add value to the property as buyers see it as move-in ready. It's very common for the seller to include the refrigerator and washer and dryer. This is because our MLS specifically addresses those personal property items as included yes or no, specific spot that we have to address those. Additional personal property items can be negotiated as part of the purchase agreement. Buyers can express interest in specific personal property and ask them to convey with the sale at close of escrow. These days, it's very challenging for sellers to sell personal personal property. Even some of the charitable foundations that accept donations are charging to pick up property. So sellers are much more likely to include personal property. However, if the buyer is obtaining financing, it's important that you check with the lender on language or if that should even be included as part of the purchase agreement. You might prefer to do a bill of sale on those items and keep it separate from the agreement. Overall, sellers are offering personal property to create a smoother transaction and help sell the home. By understanding the offerings made from sellers to buyers in today's market, buyers can better navigate the home buying process when moving to Las Vegas or Henderson. I hope this helps you with your move to Las Vegas and negotiations in the process. For more videos about real estate in Las Vegas or Henderson, please make sure to check out one of the other videos on my screen. I appreciate you for watching and see you on the next one.